Thank you very much for joining us today for this GoVolHerts virtual volunteer fair. And we're going to hear from 6 fantastic charities today. They've got 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about their organisation and also about their volunteering roles. We've got a bit of a range of organisations and a range of volunteering roles, because not every volunteering role is for everyone, but we hope there is a volunteering role for everyone. We have some, you can be a befriender, you can be a club helper, you can be a trustee, you can be a volunteer driver, you can be a mentor. There's so many different volunteering roles, but I think something like, I hear about our community transport schemes, and you think, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And I feel all enthusiastic and I hear these great stories, and then I remember that I actually hate driving. So that's not a role for me at all. So it's the same for everyone. Not every role is going to work for everyone, but hopefully today we're going to hear from some great charities and maybe you'll find something that suits you. If not, we have over 600 roles currently live on GoVolHerts from over 550 charities and non-profit organisations in and around Hertfordshire. So I do really think there's something out there for everyone, and sometimes it's just a question of finding it. And an event like today, we hope just to give you a little taste of what there is available. So that's enough for me, I think, for now. And I'm going to move straight on to our first presenter, and that is Catherine. Catherine is from the Reach Out Hertfordshire project, who, as you might guess from the name, operate across Hertfordshire. So Catherine, I'm going to hand over to you now. Hopefully you can share your presentation. If not, Mandeep, I think, has it ready to go as well. So tell us, what do Reach Out do and how can people get involved in volunteering for you?
Great. Hopefully I'm sharing my screen now. No.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
perhaps Mandy, you can do that in the background for me while I start talking.
Sure, I can have that ready for you.
Thank you. But welcome everybody. Really appreciate you being here today. So Reach Out Hertfordshire has been established since 2019, and we are ostensibly a home from hospital charity. If you could just flick up 2 slides there, or 1 slide there, please, Mandeep. We support anybody that is over the age of 50, that is vulnerable clinically, home from hospital, but the #1 reason for our being is that they are suffering from loneliness and isolation. And so our lovely volunteers, we ask for 1 hour a week of your time, and that is to go in and see the client, have a cup of tea with them, have a chat, really make them feel like a person again. Being in hospital is tough, as we all know. There's not much dignity involved in hospital.
Sorry, that's the wrong presentation.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's my presentation. Sorry.
Let's see if we can get that back up. I think it was up initially. It's just 3 slides. It's very quick.
Sorry, but I think Mandeep's having a little technical issue, but we'll try and get it up. Apologies, Catherine.
There we go.
Hi.
That's the one.
Are we back again? Sorry about that,
please.
everyone. Okay, which slide would you like me to go to?
That one, please, Mandeep. Perfect.
Perfect. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So the type of thing we would ask you to do might include, as I said, going in, making a cup of tea, having a chat is #1. Sometimes it might be collecting a little bit of shopping for them. Not a big weekly shop, just a few items from their local shop that they might really fancy. Taking them out on small outings, supported walks. A lot of our clients have lost their confidence with their health issues, and they're really looking for somebody just to walk alongside them down to the shops or walk alongside them to the park, and so that can be really nice. Collecting prescriptions, dropping prescriptions off, anything that would make that person's day a little bit easier. We say initially it's a 6-month service to our clients, so we will support them for the 6 months from when we take them on. We do have clients that have been matched for longer, because we are often the only person outside of carers, perhaps physiotherapists and occupational therapists, that are going in to see these clients on a regular basis. And the feedback we have is absolutely fantastic. We're supporting over 700 clients last year across Hertfordshire. Last month in August alone, we're supporting 348 clients across Hertfordshire. It's an hour where you can give back to your community, but make a real difference in somebody's life. And if you just flip onto the final slide, Mandeep, there are some quotes from some of our volunteers there. I felt that hour might not be important to me, but it could change someone's life. And that's really true. We honestly get feedback from our clients that the support we give to them is life-changing. There's a simple Google form on our website, Reach Out Hertfordshire. The numbers are on the screen now, so it's reachout/project.org.uk, and there's a simple Google form to fill in if you're interested, and we will do all the rest. We'd really love to have you. We have volunteers from all walks of life. Doesn't matter if you're working full-time, part-time, retired, not working at all. If you can spare an hour a week, that's all we ask. I'd be most grateful. And if anyone's got any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's absolutely great project operating across Hertfordshire. And we all know that there are people out there who are sort of really lonely. So this is one of the fantastic befriending projects. This is obviously specifically for people who are medically vulnerable. And just an hour of a week that a lot of people would be able to, you know, some people think, oh no, I don't want to commit to something and it will take a lot of time, because we all have such busy lives, let's be honest. But an hour a week could really, really make a difference to someone's life, as Catherine has said. And if you have an hour to spare, maybe if you like chatting to other people, that's fine. Oh, someone has a question. Thank you. So here we go, Catherine.
I think it was about how we match clients.
Volunteers
Yeah.
With clients.
So when we take a client on, there's 4 of us in my role as coordinators. We go out and we meet the client initially when we first take them on, and we ask about their backgrounds, their hobbies, their interests, what they used to do as a job, for example. And then when we find volunteers and we recruit volunteers, I ask similar questions. And then it is a bit like a dating game. And I try and match people up who have got similar hobbies, similar outlooks on life. Sometimes it's faith that's the most important thing to the client, and we match them up on that basis. But usually it's about finding likes, hobbies, interests, things like that. I hope that helps.
That's great. Thank you for that question, Catherine. And Karen, sorry. And thank you for asking it, Catherine. I'm getting confused. But that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much for that. So that is the Reach Out project. If you are interested, I have popped the link to the GoVolHerts page in the chat. So please feel free just to go and have a little look, find out a bit more. And if you'd like to sign up, Catherine and the team would love to have you. So next on our agenda today, we actually had a sneak preview of their presentation. Apologies for that. We've got Claire, who is from Homestart Hertfordshire. Hi, Claire.
Hello. Hi. I'm just going to try and share my presentation for. Oh, is Mandeep?
Mandeep is trying to share, I think.
Okay.
Would you like me to share it on my screen?
I don't know. That's fine. If you want to share it, that's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so tell us about what Homestart Hertfordshire do and about your current volunteering roles. And again, we'll put the links in the chat so people can find things easily.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So I'm Claire. I'm the Service Delivery Manager for Homestart Hertfordshire. So we are a charity. We're based in Stevenage, but we support families who have at least one child aged under 5. And they may be experiencing various challenges. So they could have poor mental or physical health, postnatal depression. We get a lot of referrals from the perinatal team. They might have financial worries. As you know, the cost of living crisis has caused huge issues for everybody, but for those vulnerable families that were already struggling, it's exacerbated other issues such as mental health. We support families who've experienced a bereavement. They might be very isolated. They may have moved to the area. They may have fled domestic abuse and come to an area, don't know it, so we support them to get out and about. We've also seen a huge increase in referrals for neurodiversity, and that's for both parents and children. So children and parents that are on the autism, ADHD pathway for a diagnosis, but they're really struggling with, you know, with a lot of them with their children's behaviours, and they need support with helping. So we train our volunteers to support families either in their own home, so they would give a couple of hours a week to go and support the family in their own home, or at one of our family groups, which are run across Hertfordshire. So the family groups are referral only, so the families can self-refer into the group, or they can be referred in by a professional. Yeah, so that's sort of basically what we do. That's it, lovely. So in terms of being a volunteer for Home Start, it's really important that you've either got experience of caring for children or working with children, because you're going into a family home, and you're going into people that are parenting their children, and it's much better if you've had those experiences yourself, because you're much more able to empathise and to understand those struggles that the family might be facing, and they often need that real emotional support from our volunteers. And a lot of time it's just that listening ear, someone that's going to listen to them, that's got the time to spend you know, listening to what they've got to say. It's really important that you're non-judgmental, and it's really important that you have a good sense of humour, because you often need that. You know, volunteers will support for between 6 or 9 months, and you really build those trusting relationships with the family, and you'll also be working to sort of a set of agreed goals. So initially the volunteer manager would meet the family, and then they would match the volunteer with the family, and there would be agreed goals between all of you for the support that they need. So what can we offer you as a volunteer? So we offer it's a really comprehensive training course. We cover lots of different things: safeguarding, confidentiality, boundaries. It's an opportunity for you to gain new skills and build on that already existing experience that you've got. Often we find that parents or people want to go back to work, but they've got trouble getting a CV because they haven't had that experience for a long time. Can be really helpful. So we can provide after 6 months a CV for you and a reference. We offer ongoing training, continuing professional development, lots of opportunities for training, and you would have a 6 weekly supervision with the volunteer manager, so that you can talk over the work you're doing with the family, any concerns you've got, any worries, and things like that. And we also offer a termly group supervision where you get together with other volunteers, and you can chat over different things. We sometimes have speakers and things like that. So it can really improve your own well-being, your self-esteem, increase your confidence and those social networks. And most of our volunteer managers that we have at the moment started out as volunteers for Home Start. So how do you apply? So that's lovely. If you can contact us by emailing for an application form. You can call us on the head office number. You can, if you want any further information or you want to have a further chat about the role, you're quite welcome to call me. I'm happy for these slides to be shared with everybody. We work across Hertfordshire, so we cover Stevenage, we also cover North Herts, East Herts, Welwyn, Hatfield, St Albans and Dacorum. So we work across all those areas. The training's 2 face-to-face sessions, an online e-learning module, and you also get a GDPR session as well, so that making sure, because you have to record your visits. So these are just a couple of quotes. One from a family saying that my volunteers been like a breath of fresh air to me. I can never thank them and Homestart enough for everything that they're doing for the boys and me. Not only did they help me through one of my hardest times, but they also helped me to start believing in myself. I can be a good mum, and with time I'll keep growing in confidence and battle my anxieties. And one of our volunteers wrote that there's so many families out there who only really need a little support to give them the confidence to discover that they have in their own hearts and minds the instinctive capacity to love and support each other and survive as a functioning family. No one should be judged by their problems, but how they face them. And there's just a couple of pictures. This is one of our volunteer celebration events. During Volunteer Week, we always have a celebration for the volunteers where we get together for lunch and presentations and things like that. And I think on the last slide, we've got a picture of one of our volunteers at family group, one of our family groups, and a picture of our volunteers, the ones, this was from a couple of years ago, completing our training course with their certificates. So thank you very much for listening to me. If you've got any questions, let me know. But as I said, I'm happy for the contact details, the slides to be shared with everybody.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Claire. So a different role there. Another one where you might be going to someone's home for just a couple of hours a week and helping them out. But quite different, really, from Reach Out, where you're helping an older person. Here we're looking at families with younger children, and a little bit of support, you know, might make a huge difference to that start in life and that family. And instead of things spiraling out of control, actually they're okay, and that's good for them, and it's good for everyone, really, isn't it? So that's absolutely fantastic. And Claire has also touched there on some of the reasons that people might want to volunteer, some things people get out of it. People might want different things from volunteering. Do you know, that's absolutely fine. We all get different things out of it. Maybe we'll get things out of it that we didn't realise. We go and volunteer because, you know, we're feeling a bit lonely, and actually it's a bit social. And actually maybe we find some new skills, maybe we find some confidence. Younger people might want something, as we say, to put on their CV. Maybe people trying to find a way back into work. Lots and lots of reasons for volunteering, and they're all absolutely valid. It's absolutely fine. So thank you again, Claire. That's absolutely great. So moving on, we're going to hear from Lynn now, I think, who's from YMCA. I think might have the record for the number of current volunteering roles on GoVolHerts. I was looking this morning. I know you've this year taken over a lot of services across Hertfordshire. So I'm guessing you're going to talk about some of them, but not all of them today. But there are, you know, lots and lots of different roles that was going to sort lots and lots of different people. So if you can just give us a very quick overview of what YMCA do and the current volunteering roles you're particularly looking to recruit to at the moment, Lynn, that would be fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you. So yes, I'm employed by YMCA, but my role is within the Family Support Service. So recently, the Family Support Service across Hertfordshire was recommissioned. So that was all about a year ago, and the new contract started in January. So the whole of Hertfordshire now, all the family centres in the county are come under YMCA's auspices, I suppose is the term. But so YMCA is an offshoot of YMCA, and it is focusing on children and young people rather than more in the youth and adult sector. So this is why we're YMCA rather than YMCA. But we do have lots of interactions with YMCA as a whole. So this is all the things that we do across the county as YMCA. So family work is what my role is. We get involved in youth work. There's also hostels and the Resilient Project, Chaplaincy is not being an assistant priest, it's just being a mentor essentially for people who need that sort of support. Dignify is a project that goes into secondary schools to focus on the sort of toxic culture that is apparent today in online with bullying and sexual harassment and things like that. The ISVA service is about people who have experienced sexual violence. We have children's centres in Bedfordshire as well, across the county boundary. And we also do therapeutic services in Bedfordshire as well. The RAF Airplay, that's in various sites across the UK, and that is time for the children of RAF workers who live on site to have some time to get to know each other. People who work in the armed services are moving around quite often a lot, so children need to be able to make friends quite quickly, and the Airplay service facilitates that. We've got community hubs. We also have a cafe over in Leavesden, which is run by people from our some of our beneficiaries from other services. So they come in as apprentices to learn a trade there. And it's a very nice cafe. They do great cake. If you're in Leavesden Country Park, I would recommend you go there. So moving on. So why volunteer with us? So you, as with Claire talking about the Home Start volunteers, you get experience, you get new skills, you can have a positive impact on your community. We also take students who may need placements as part of their course requirements. People want to give back to their community or make new friends, have a sense of belonging to an organisation. It reduces isolation, and you can share your skills with other people as well. So you're transferring knowledge and skills to some of our beneficiaries. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So these are some of the roles that we have across all of our services. So you can see there that we need kitchen assistants in the cafe. We desperately need gardeners for our family centres in some of our areas. We are fortunate where we've got a garden, but those gardens have come into a real state of disrepair, and it's very difficult to try and wade through the grass at the moment. Some of the YMCA projects have fitness instructors, youth workers, chaplains, as I said earlier, and within the family centres, we're recruiting as well for support for our universal group. So that's like a baby group or a rhyme time or a stay and play. So the family support service supports families like Home Start with children under 5. So we go from pre-birth to age 5 within that's what our remit is. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we are fortunate enough that we have achieved the Investing in Volunteering status, and we are going for our reaccreditation this year. So these are the areas that we achieved the standard in. There are 6 areas, and we met the criteria for all of them. So we do have a company vision for volunteering. We plan how we're going to place and train and recruit all those volunteers. We're very much an inclusive organisation, so we are happy to take volunteers from any walk of life. We are not, we're not saying, oh, you can't do this if you've been in prison. We are very, very inclusive. We support our volunteers if they're going through their own difficulties. and we value and develop them. They have access to the same training as staff do, and they're included in our team meetings, in our celebration days, and we have a general coffee mornings that volunteers and potential volunteers can come to. And we did a whole load of celebrations during Volunteers Week in June, and we'll have the same again for International Volunteers Day in December. So next one, please. So this is a photo of one of our volunteers in getting ready for a stay and play session. So it really embeds you in your local community because you meet people who live in that in the area where you do, probably, because we do try and place you as close as possible to minimise your travel time. But if people want to move slightly out of their area, then we can facilitate that as well. You can get new skills and experience, which can lead into further training and employment opportunities. So recently, a couple of our volunteers have done courses with Step to Skills, which is an education organisation within Hertfordshire. And one of those has gone into paid employment, and the other is looking at doing further training. We can support you all along your volunteering journey and we will signpost to other roles that are available within Hertfordshire that you might be relevant if you're wanting to go into working with children or into admin, because we do have admin volunteers as well. So we do a whole induction and full training. It's the same training as staff do through the platform, but we have managed to weed out a couple of hesitate to use the word more boring things, but GDPR for some of our volunteers has been removed because we felt that it wasn't needed. And they do a boundaries and confidentiality training instead, which is a bit more accessible. So next slide, please. So these are the roles that we're currently recruiting for the Family Support Service. So reception and admin. So that's the kind of, you're the first person that families see when they walk into the building. Gardeners, as I said before, absolutely desperate for gardeners. The community ambassador role is something that people can do alongside their small children. So if they still have children that they're coming to groups with, they can come along to the group with their child. Our group is free of charge for them. And when they're out and about in the community, doing other things, going to other groups, or they might have an older child and they're at primary school. It's just really spreading the word about the Family Support Service and what our service is, what support we can offer to young families, and how to refer into our service, or just sharing our termly timetable so that people know what's available and they can come along. Or our early start activity and our emerging needs volunteers. So they will either do universal groups and support our staff with setting up and running the group and then clearing away at the end, or they may be in the more targeted groups we do for some of our emerging needs families. So yeah, there's a lot to get involved with. And we're always happy if somebody comes along and says, oh, I'm really artistic and I'm good at displays. We would snap them up in a heartbeat to do the displays within centres. So if you've got skills that you think might be useful to us, then come along and have a chat by all means. So, as I said earlier, all our volunteers have an induction and ongoing training is available. The training is mandatory before you start, just because we are working with children and vulnerable adults. So the safeguarding, health and safety, all of that sort of thing really needs to be done before you start. We also do a DBS check. So we do have really good resources for volunteers to understand the service, and they get a proper induction. They get an induction into One YMCA and into the family support service as well, just so everybody knows what we're doing and how we support our families. And each volunteer gets allocated a team member who supports them on a sort of day-to-day basis when they come in. We usually ask for 1 session a week to start with, which by the time they've travelled might be 2 to 3 hours. And we do ask, because it is quite a lengthy induction, training, vetting process, that we ideally would like a commitment of 6 months from a volunteer. And at the end of the 6 months, if they choose to stay, that's great. If they choose to move on to something else, then we can provide a reference at that point, which is, as Claire said earlier, really good for people building their CVs. So, yeah. So this is how we support our volunteers. As I said, recruitment process, the DBS, the ongoing training, regular supervisions and one-to-one. They can be group supervisions or individual. There's access to internal and external events, celebrations, team meetings. They can shadow in different service areas if they think, oh, actually, I might want to go to the Woodlands Cafe. They can go over and shadow that. And we take placements and work experience as well. So students and all our policies and all of that sort of thing is available to volunteers on our hub. And that's me. So those are my contact details. The overall volunteering lead for the whole of One YMCA is Sana. So if you're interested in the family centres, you can come to me. If you're interested in other things, then you can go to Sana. But if you're interested in anything and you've forgotten all of that, you can just Google volunteering at One YMCA, and all the different tabs for the different services are on there with everybody's contact details. So that's
Thank
me,
you very
unless
much,
there's
Lynn.
any questions.
I have posted in the chat the link to all the One YMCA roles on GoVolHerts, and I've said there are 23 different roles there currently. So please feel free to go and have a look, and maybe you'll find something that suits you. So thank you very much again, Lynn.
Thank you.
Moving swiftly on, we are running a little bit later than anticipated. We should have Rebecca from Trauma Recovery CIC. Hi there, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you doing?
Yes, all right, thank you.
Okay. So can you tell us a bit about your organisation and also about your volunteering role? And I will post some of the information in the chat as well. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Really enjoying hearing about everyone else's volunteering roles. I have to apologise for my lack of presentation. The request for me to attend on behalf of another Rebecca who was supposed to attend came slightly last minute. So I'm Rebecca. I'm representing Trauma Recovery Community Interest Company. I'm here to also accompanied by my colleague Melissa, who has just joined our team yesterday as my maternity cover. So she is shadowing me today and will be sort of taking over this side of things alongside my colleagues. So we are a not-for-profit based in Welwyn Garden City, but we work across Hertfordshire, working with individuals who have experienced any kind of sexual, domestic and or relational abuse, and we support them through our services, which are primarily trauma-focused one-to-one therapy, as well as our lived experience community, which it's called Butterflies, our lived experience community. We do have some volunteering roles within our lived experience community, but we're not actually recruiting for them at the moment. So the role that I'm here to promote today is a bid writer. So we're a really small team, and a lot of our work is we're reliant on grant funding. So we are looking for a volunteer bid writer role to support support the existing team on making those applications, providing those expertise, and guiding, directing, advising, and sort of getting involved in securing those funds and writing bids with us.
Okay, is that everything you want to say, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think so. That's sort of a little synopsis of us, and
yeah,
just the one role for us at the moment.
Yeah, so it's a very different role to some of the others we've heard so far. They're quite hands-on, working sort of what we might call frontline, and this is a bit more still perfectly valid volunteering role, and that's going to suit some people. Maybe we're not all people, are we? So some of us might have skills in that direction, and they might think that's absolutely fantastic. I'd be really good at that. And hopefully it's someone watching this. So if you are interested in that role, I've just popped a link in the chat. So please feel free to get in touch, and you could really help this, small charity out, give them the benefit of your expertise. That's obviously quite a specific role, and everyone's not going to have those skills, but hopefully someone out there will do. Because there's all sorts of people out there with all sorts of skills, and perhaps we don't always appreciate what we've got ourselves. And then you see something like I think, oh, I could do that, and it's really helpful and really invaluable to this charity. So thank you very much for joining us, Rebecca. I'm sorry you were thrown in at the last minute, and I hope it wasn't too painful for you.
No, not at all. No, at all.
Okay, so thank you again. So next, we're going to hear from Welwyn Hatfield Citizens Advice. Most people would have heard of the Citizens Advice. You've probably got a local office somewhere. I didn't realise when I started in this role that each Citizens Advice office is actually its own charity. So they didn't have to do, their own work, their own recruitment of volunteers. And I think we probably all have some understanding of what Citizens Advice do. A place to turn to when you need some advice on something a bit weighty. So they're volunteers. Again, this would be a public facing role, and have a bit more training than some volunteering roles. So if you're going to go around advising people about legal matters, that you will need that. But obviously we've joined today hopefully by, is it Radhika and Christy?
Yeah, hi.
Who are going to tell us a bit more about it and about their current volunteering roles. And we also going to hear from, is it one volunteer you have today? Hopefully going to join us, tell us about from their perspective.
Yes, we do. We have David joining us.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I look forward to hearing from, it's always great to hear a volunteer's point of view, because we can tell the public about what we do, we can tell them about our volunteering roles, but actually to hear it from, I'm going to call him a horse now, hearing it from the horse's mouth, apologies David, is always, really good, because it can make more of an impression on people, going, oh yeah, maybe I could do that, this is what someone else has got out of it, and that's what we like to hear. So I'll shut up now. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity. I'm joined by my colleague, Christy. We both kind of job share, and we are both training leads, and we also have our volunteer, a wonderful volunteer, David, joining us, and he would be sharing his experience of volunteering with the Citizens Advice, Welwyn Hatfield. So primarily we, have clients coming from Hatfield and Welwyn, but we also give advice to clients from Woolmer Green, Barnet, Welham Green. So we kind of cover a vast area, and we give free, confidential, independent advice to people to overcome their problems. So I'll be requesting my colleague to share the slides while I speak. So why volunteer with us? Because it's hugely rewarding, makes a difference to our local community. We learn new skills, and we meet a diverse range of people. And how could you be involved? Our advice and information giving volunteers help people over the phone and face-to-face to explore the issues that they need help with. Many of our volunteers help clients with a range of issues, supporting them to weigh up to their options and to take action. And what we offer comprehensive training program, ongoing support and learning opportunities, the travel expenses paid and free parking, and the experience of working in a friendly and supportive team. And of course, endless supply of tea, coffee and biscuits. And what we ask for a minimum commitment of 6 hours per week. We have attendance at our office in Hatfield on Wednesdays or Thursdays. We do request for a non-judgmental approach to the issues people bring and the willingness to learn and work as a part of a team. The top issues we help with are the benefits, the personal independence payment primarily, council tax arrears and housing. Our impact in 2024-25, we advised 3,451 clients and dealt with 13,989 issues for them, and we achieved an income gain for the clients of almost 3.3 million. So if you'd like to work with us and if you'd like to find out more, email us at hr@whcab.org.uk, or you could check our website. The website details are below. And we would request, we are very fortunate to have a wonderful volunteer, David, who's been a valuable volunteer for us, and we're going to request him to speak about his experience of volunteering with Citizens Advice Welwyn Hatfield.
Yeah, thanks Radhika, and hello everyone. Yes, I've volunteered at Welwyn Hatfield Citizens Advice for 2 years now, as in 2 roles, but mainly as a generalist.
I think we've lost his connection there. It looks like he's sitting in a car. Hi, David. We just lost you there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, it must be mobile phone network. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I was just saying I've worked for 2 years as a volunteer generalist advisor. I generally deal with 2 clients per day, and I meet them face to face, although there is telephone options available. And
just losing the connection again.
I could do to housing, to domestic abuse, the list is so like I've gained a huge amount of knowledge, but I've also it's very rewarding when you actually when clients come in, sometimes in often desperate situations, and they walk out in a better place than when they came in. So a couple of examples of clients. I had one client last week who came in, was about to be evicted from their house because they didn't have the money to support themselves and to continue paying rent. So I did a benefits check and was able to work out that they were due just over £13,000 per annum, which was transformational to enable them to support themselves and help them to complete the application forms because they were vulnerable clients, and then rang up the council, worked with the homelessness team, and the homeless team are now working landlord to hopefully get a new tenancy agreement signed, because she's now in a position to be able to afford that tenancy agreement. Just in terms of the other role I take part in is whilst we help individual clients, and that's very valuable, sometimes a good solution is to deal with common issues holistically, and so I take part in a role called research and campaigns. And what we try and do is identify, as I said, common issues and deal with them holistically. So a couple of examples of that is we had 30 clients coming in with various flight tipping related issues, and we worked with the local council to actually update their processes to ensure that fines and tickets were made in a more appropriate way. And the other holistic issue we're helping at the moment is we get many clients who have either some sort of disability or life-limiting illnesses, with debts. And whilst we will engage with those clients on an individual basis, we're actually working with, and I think someone mentioned Step to Skills earlier on. Yeah. We're working with Step to Skills to establish a referral process where we can refer clients who are ready and willing and able to go back to work, to actually support those clients. So whilst our role is to advise and help sort out the underlying issues, for example, debts, where we identify clients who perhaps are ready to go out to work, then we have a partnership with Step to Skills to refer those clients to them. So in summary, the role is wide, it's varied, it's interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed it in the 2 years that I've been there, and you also get to meet, great people. We get great training, we get great support on such issues. So happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
That's fantastic, David. Thank you ever so much. I think all of the volunteering roles we've heard today are ones that they can really make an impact on people's lives, and it's amazing, really. Even after all the time I've been working at GoVolHerts, I still hear stories from people that make me feel a bit warm and fuzzy inside. So I hope that does that to you too. So absolutely fantastic work, David. Thank you to you and to all the volunteers everywhere. That the country couldn't function without its volunteers. Let's be honest. So absolutely fantastic work, changing people's lives there. Obviously a role that requires a little bit more in the way of quite serious training and commitment because of the things you're advising on people on, but possibly something really good to add to your CV. Maybe it's sort of related to professional work, and absolutely it sounds like a really, really rewarding role as an advisor. There are other roles in citizens advice. David's talked about sort of research there. What issues are there? Are there ways that can be tackled holistically rather than we can all do a quick fix here and a quick fix there, but is there something we can do to make things better for everyone? And that absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much from Citizens Advice in Welwyn Hatfield, and especially to David, because it's always great to hear from volunteers, their perspectives and sharing some stories with us. We love that here at GoVolHerts.
Thank you.
So, thank you. And finally, last but not least, we've got Chloe from the Motor Neurone Disease Association. So Chloe, can you tell us a bit about your organisation and about your current volunteering roles?
I can. So thank you so much.
Oh,
so
yeah.
A little bit of a change in direction for us all, and I'll try and keep it as upbeat as possible. So hopefully some of you have heard of motor neurone disease, but unfortunately it is a fatal, rapidly progressing neurological condition. It affects more than 5,000 adults in the UK at any one time. As an association, we're currently supporting approximately 110 people in Hertfordshire living with MND. So MND affects people from all backgrounds, and personal lifetime risks of developing MND is around 1 in 300. So some people might think that's quite small numbers for Hertfordshire, considering some of the numbers that we've heard from today. As an association, we have over 11,000 members nationally, forming a powerful network that provides information and support for people living with and affected by MND. We fund and promote research that leads to new understanding and treatments of the condition and hopefully bringing us closer to a cure. We campaign and raise the awareness for the needs of people living with MND, and we try to get these recognised and addressed by the wider society. So people with MND and their families and carers are at the heart of everything we do. So today I'm here to talk about 2 roles specific to Hertfordshire. One of the biggest ones, and it's probably very similar to some of the roles we've heard of today, is our association visitors. So this is a key volunteer role for the association where you'd provide regular support to somebody living with or affected by MND in your local community. It isn't a clinical role. So it's about being there being a friendly presence, a reliable source of emotional support, and practical guidance. So you might help someone understand what support's available to them, you might signpost them to local services, but you might also just be there to be kind and consistent presence during what can be a really difficult time. Visits can be in person, they can be virtual, they can be over the phone. We provide full training and ongoing support, so hopefully you'll feel confident and prepared to make a difference in the life of someone living with MND. This is a remote volunteering role, which means you'll be visiting the person in their home rather than coming into an office or centre. We try and pair you with someone in your local community, and it's really flexible. When I get people contacting me, they say, "Oh, I work full time, I'm not sure I can fit it in." We see it as no different as you contacting your friend to see if they're free for a cup of coffee. You make it fit around the time that you have. So there's no set expectations of hours a week. Some people visit the people they support weekly, some support them fortnightly, monthly. It's really about building that relationship with the person living with MND and figuring out what works for you both and what you both need. So although, some of the things I've mentioned about MND can sound very sort of sad, this is about building that friendship, building that relationship. So it might be that you pair with somebody and you support them and you never speak about MND, but actually you're just that light at the end of a really difficult day where you come in and you can talk about your holidays or your friends or the football or gardening or whatever it might be to provide some emotional support. One of the other roles that I wanted to briefly mention that the branch in Hertfordshire are looking for is a secretary. So all of the work that happens in Hertfordshire for the association is run via the local branch, which is a committee of volunteers who make it all happen, from fundraising, from campaigning, from support groups, from our association visitor liaison, from branch contact. And the branch committee are looking for a secretary. So we're looking for somebody that can come along to those committee meetings that, like you say, Deborah, might not want to be that person facing. They might not feel that they're able to commit to supporting somebody that is so unwell, but want to commit to the cause. So they can come along to the committee meetings, take minutes, write emails, help support the newsletter production, support the chair of our branch to make sure that all the workings of the work we do locally are running smoothly. So just being that sort of oil on that cog to make sure that things go round effectively. I was unfortunately due to be joined by one of our volunteers today, but she unfortunately couldn't be with us. So just a few things that our volunteers tell us that they find the role incredibly fulfilling. So being an association visitor gives you the chance to build meaningful connections and make a real difference in somebody's lives. People often say it's a privilege to be trusted to walk alongside somebody in their MND journey. Volunteers also tell us that they gain confidence, empathy, and a sense of purpose. And of course, you'll never be doing it alone. We offer full training, regular check-ins, and ongoing support for our local team of fellow volunteers. So, for example, as an association visitor, we have every other month we have regular check-ins where we come together as a team. We're able to share challenges that we might have had, ask one another about questions. The person I'm supporting is experiencing this. Has anyone ever dealt with it? What advice would you give? I'm providing that emotional support. As I've mentioned, I don't want to end on a sad and somber note, but it is really important to acknowledge that MND is a terminal illness. And we would be asking you as an association volunteer to build a relationship with somebody that is dying. So unfortunately, it isn't a role for everybody. But like our volunteers said, that privilege of being able to be with somebody and support them through those last moments is phenomenal. So I hope I've not left it on too sad a note. But it's wonderful experience to be able to have, you know, our support groups. They happen in Stevenage and in Boxmoor. The one in Stevenage is in a pub, so you can imagine, you know, the joy and the fun that we have when we meet together, especially over the summer. We've managed to have all of our meetings outside in the pub garden since spring, so that's been beautiful. And yeah, so as difficult as it might sound, you know, it's a really fun and enjoyable role at the same time.
Thank you so much, Chloe. That's absolutely lovely. Sometimes we need a bit more kindness in the world, don't we? And I think you look at the news and you feel all down and there's war going on and all these horrible things. And like, can't we just be nice to each other? How difficult is it? So yeah, like Chloe says, not a role for everyone, but definitely a role for someone. And that's sort of supporting someone. I can imagine if you've got something like that, or cancer, or any sort of big disease, that it almost can come to define you, and some people are embarrassed to talk to people or don't know what to say. So maybe you're a real people person and you can deal with that, and you can see the person and you can help them make the most quality of the life. They might not have a lot of time left, but it's, you know, like I've said, I think to people in the hospices before, it's not about how long it is, it's how, you know, having a good quality of life. And I think that's what you could do with the MND Association, if that's a role for you. So thank you ever so much to all our presenters today. Thank you for you at home who have joined us. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it valuable. I hope you found a volunteering role. If not, we do have, as I said at the beginning, I think we've got about over 600 roles currently live on GoVolHerts. We've got over 550 different charities and non-profits. So I do think there is something out there for everyone. If you wanted to stay on for just another 5 minutes, I'm going to do a very, very quick whistle-stop tour of searching for a role on GoVolHerts. But if not, please feel free to leave. And I'm just going to share my screen. Just to show you, give you a quick overview, make sure I share the right screen. You want to be looking at yourselves. Okay, so this is the search page on GoVolHerts, and this is where you would go if you were looking for a volunteer role. As you can see from the search box here, it's currently focused on Hitchin in Hertfordshire. This is because I'm logged into the GoVolHerts account and it thinks I live at my office. Well, I actually don't, but hey. So if it's showing me, it's sorted by the closest, so it's finding things which are close to me at the moment, but these might not be things I'm particularly interested in. So if I type something to the search box, say I type in gardening, because I can spell that, that comes up with all sorts of horticultural different roles there. I'm just going to close that one out. I can change if I'm looking for something very particular. I want to work in animal care or something. I might want to change. So let's look up to 10 miles away. Let's expand that because I've got quite specific interest. This is the drop down for the type of volunteering role. Like, we do have some events. I think there were a few more over the summer. If you just want a one-off role, I've got a volunteering day from work. I want to do something one day. I don't have a lot of time. Is there something I can just do as a one-off thing, and then maybe I'll do another one-off thing? Or is there something short-term, or is there something long? So that's what that is for. If there's a particular cause you're interested in, I'm really interested in animals, or I want to do health, or I want to work with older people, or I want to work with young people, then that's your cause filter. You click on that and then it will filter things down. Activities, maybe there is something particular you want to do. Have you got a particular skill set? Maybe your transfer knowledge. It's got some subcategories under it. You're really creative and say, oh, what is there for me in the sort of, I want to help out with some arts and crafts, or I'm good at languages. Are there any roles that need that? You'd be surprised. And then we have some more filters here, suitable for groups or teams. Sometimes we get requests for people from workplaces who want to do some corporate volunteering. All charities should offer reimbursement of a reasonable cost, things like travel, extra support. We've put that under the category. That could be, you know, if you have particular needs. Some charities, you know, especially large charities, can perhaps offer a little bit more support, where your little tiny grassroots one perhaps not so much. We've got tags here for some opportunities are suitable for under 18s. Some charities find that difficult. It might depend on the nature of the volunteering roles as well. A lot of retail roles are quite happy to take young people from the age of 14. And the last tag is for trustee opportunities. Trustees are volunteers as well. They're the people who sort of sit on executive boards and run charities. So they're not people facing roles, but they're actually really, really important roles. And we do actually, if you click on here, we've got the browse volunteering opportunities. That's where we are now. We've got a special page where we've got all the befriending roles which are pulled through, and we've got the trustee opportunities. If that's the sort of role you think, yeah, that, you know, either you've got some professional skills you think you could bring to that, or you've got a particular knowledge perhaps of a medical condition and it's with an associated charity, bringing that is really, really helpful. And if you don't know, we've got a volunteer quiz. That's just what that looks like, so you can just click through a few of those things. Okay, so that's a very, very quick look at how to search and how you might look for a role that works for you on GoVolHerts. Once again, thank you to all the presenters today for telling us about the fantastic work they're doing and their volunteering opportunities. And thank you to everyone at home for joining us today. We hope you found it inspiring. And that's it from me today. So thank you very much. I hope you'll join us again for another event. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care and don't forget to be kind to people. Bye-bye.